how can I become an extension of the robot? Instead of what can the robot do for me, what can I do with all of this stuff? I think looking at it from that point of view is the key. And once I figured that out, everything else, the workflow flew easily. It flowed nicely.
So what do you think, what is in your mind, what comes next? What do you think is going to come next? If we
That's a
could
great
look into
question.
a crystal ball and say, I think we will be using technology in this way. Now, for
Oh,
example, it may be that we're using the same similar robot setup so that a pediatrician can see 100 kids in rural America where there is no access to pediatricians and you're just seeing the ones that are having a problem. But you're in fact managing 100, 200 visits, but you're only seeing 10 of them. So things like that. Where do you see it going?
so it's already starting to move, and it's people that have the innovation and the forward thinking to try new things and different things. There are mobile units now that are geared to do clinics, and they go into rural areas and they have a schedule. On Mondays, they're in this town. On Tuesdays, they're in that town. And you can actually have little consultation rooms in these mobile things. And you can have, for example, you can even do peds in one room, neurology in another room, pulmonary in another room, cardiology in another room, and bring it, and even bring it for visits also.
Weren't you working on something like that?
Was back in where around
Oh,
COVID time, but yeah, that didn't pan out because of money, really.
yeah, it looked expensive.
Yeah, and that was, and it all comes down. It does come down to money, but there are grants out there and so forth that could be used. The other thing, I don't know where you are, but this has been going on for several years now, is stroke ambulances. Have you heard about
And
stroke ambulances? So these are specific ambulances that have a CT scanner in the ambulance, and they've got a little robot in the ambulance so that you can talk to the neurologist. So they'll go to a stroke call. And again, this is more in actually, it's Cleveland Clinic is using it. And here, I know in Europe, they're using it also, is that either a regular ambulance would go there. And if it's a stroke, then they would call the stroke ambulance. Or if it's a stroke call, then the stroke ambulance would go there. It's costs like 1.3 million for this ambulance. But what it does is they've got the arms go down to hold the ambulance in place. They've got a CT scanner in there. They can do the CT scan. They've got a little monitor that comes up that the neurologist can pop up on and actually do their physical examination and do their NIS score and so forth. Get the results of the CT scan pretty much in real time, and then decide right then and there to use thrombolytics or not. So yeah, so that's what what I've been waiting to see a lot is a robotic arm. I think that because some of the things we can't do procedures. That's one thing, one of the limitations we can't do. We can't do intubations, we can't do central lines or chest tubes. But I think if we can get a robotic arm, because nowadays IVs are started ultrasound guided IVs. So if you can get somebody to put something on your arm and you can see where the vein is, and if you have another, and I know people are working on it also, a device that will actually, advance a needle into a vein, then we can start IVs or moving forward, intubation or central lines and stuff like that. I think that with the more technology that's coming up, I think we'll be able to have more specified like ICUs, even like we're doing a hospital at home now. I think there's going to be like ICU at home to a point. I think that's where we could be moving.
So Jeff, I remember all this started in a hospital when you were the big shot director, right?
Yes.
Now it's in your living room.
Yeah.
How did that work out, if you could tell us?
I started, as you said, I started in a hospital, and I had a couple of bigger companies come up to me and ask if I could provide physician services. And I told them yes, we would be like a subcontractor. And then I went to my hospital. I said, unfortunately, I was in a high administrative point of view. I asked them if I could do this on the side and do the telemedicine on the side with these companies. They said no. I said, do you want to do a joint venture? And they said no.